Hey there, and thank you so much for watching this Side Hustle Strategy Saturday. I am here to talk to you about my strategy for the side hustle that I am building. And the reason why this is so important is because my day job covers my living expenses and it's super tight. So I am going full guns, pedal to the metal to try and build up my side hustle in order to get myself out of debt. I'm currently at 14 and change, down from like 25, where it was a couple of years ago, and I am working like crazy to pay that off by the end of the year. So before I get into it, I'd just like to say a quick shout out to Susan T, who had sent me an email and introduced me to her adorable grandson. So hello to you both. Susan, it is indeed a pleasure to meet a fellow member of the PCA Church. That's the Presbyterian Church in America. Next to saving money and building wealth, church history and theology is one of my great loves and pastimes. So fun fact. So jumping into this side hustle strategy. So this week I wanted to talk about three things. So number one, setbacks. Number two, strategy. And number three, project I have going on. So setbacks for the week, and there were a couple. I think the biggest one is that I had to divert my attention from the hustle to some other issues that were going on in life. And nothing stays the same. All life is constantly moving, and there are constantly different things that come up in life that you need to deal with, good and bad. And in this case, there were just a couple that needed some pretty focused attention. So I feel like that kind of took away some of the focus that I would have put toward my side hustle and put it toward those issues. Nothing terrible, just things that come up in life. So I wasn't able to devote as much mind power, conscious thought, and time to the side hustle as I would have liked. But that's life, and you just roll with it, you acknowledge it, and you move on. So another thing that happened, and this was just really frustrating, like I put up a video and I'd scheduled it to post, and I noticed it didn't post, and I was like really irritated, and I realized that I had it set for the wrong day. So it was like one of those like kick yourself moments, and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do about this? The video didn't post, and I didn't want to post it at it was like 6 o'clock at night when I noticed. So I figured, okay, get over it. This is a plan. You can comment on other people's videos, and that would help. But I didn't do that either. I made the plan, so halfway there, I just didn't do it. So I tell myself, good job in making the plan. Next time, just actually do the plan that you make to deal with the setback. So the third setback was that I was not able to list as much as I would have hoped. And the reason for that was because of the project, which is number three, and I will talk about that later. If you're wondering, I just have my notes down here. So those were the biggest setbacks that I faced this week, because this week feels like a year, because if I were actually keeping up with my 12-week year, which I have not been, which is, I just haven't been, because I've been working. So I haven't been keeping up with my 12-week year. However, I have been, working toward my big quarterly goals, yearly goals. So the second element I'd like to talk about is strategy. So how am I going to get to these numbers that I need? My goal is to have my debt paid off 100% by the side hustle. That's the goal, and that's the plan. How am I going to get there? So this is my plan for getting to that strategy. So I have an eBay store, and that's my primary means of hustle income at the moment. That is what is bringing in money, as in money goes into my PayPal account, and I can withdraw that money at the end of the month and use it to put extra toward debt. So that is the only engine at the moment that is working. Eventually, it's my dream, my goal, to be able to monetize this YouTube account, because I really love interacting with you guys, and I think that if I'm able to serve in that way, it would be just amazing if I were able to use that money to pay off debt. And my third hustle engine is the blog that I have, which is alive. It took some. And it's not getting any attention at the moment because of the aforementioned setbacks. So under strategy, again, I'm mainly focusing on the eBay store at the moment because that's what's working. So I had my goal for the month was to list 200 items. And so far, I've listed 72 items, which is not bad. And we're a little bit more than halfway through the month, so not terrible. The reason that I haven't been able to list as much is the inventory and sort of figuring out my inventory and what I'm going to use to sell, because I'd done sort of an initial pass through my house, and sort of picked up things that we weren't using that we could sell. Then I started going to the Goodwill outlets and getting clothes there and selling them. And that's doable, but it's super labor intensive. Like, it takes a lot of energy. Like, I would get 60 pounds of clothes or whatever, and it would take me 6 to 10 hours to go through and list all, just to take pictures and measurements to get them ready to list, and then maybe another 4 hours to actually list them. So it's doable, but I don't think that's the best use of my energy right now in order to get to where I want to go, because my huge goal for this month is to have 2K in revenue from the eBay store. That's the goal. Right now I'm right at like 8K, so it could happen. I would need to step it up massively. So, what am I going to do? So my problem, if you state it that way, my challenge is that I need inventory that I can sell quickly, but I can list in sort of like a quick way. So that's the problem, and I'm thinking about it, kind of mulling it over. This is how I incorporated that into my strategy. So my strategy is threefold. Number one, use what you have. Don't go out and try to buy a solution. Number two, clear space. And number three, I'm looking to get inventory that I can get repeatedly and not have to go off, like to be the majority of my store, and not have to go off and do these one-off trips and start listing items, have to list items one by one. So use what you have. I took another pass at the house. I share the childhood home that I grew up in with my mom. We're both paying mortgage. She's my roomie. She's a great roomie. I love her. I love hanging out with her. I love spending time with her. She is just amazing, and I so appreciate this time that I have with her, just because she's such a remarkable woman. So we have these areas of clutter. I don't know if you've noticed from my other side hustle videos where I was listing, there was this giant, just massive wall of clutter. It was stuff that we'd had from 20, 30 years from when we moved up from Maryland, and just never went through and disposed of, mixed in with some really amazing treasures. Like, there are some really incredible things. And part of the reason why it was so devastating that this video didn't post, the video that I had intended this week, was because I took some footage of the project that I'm working on, and that is to clear out that space that I had been using for listing and inventory for eBay, and make that more usable and more accessible. So that's number two, is to clear the space. Number one is to use what you have. I'm using what I'm finding in that space to list as well, and number two is to clear space for more inventory to come in. So what this is doing, it's a pretty massive project to clear that space. I started in, Sunday. I started on Sunday evening. This was a Christmas gift, and I love it. So I started working to clear that space on Sunday evening after sundown at around 5 p.m. And I worked until about, let's say 9 p.m. It was a little less than that. I want to say maybe 6 to 8, so 2 solid hours. And it's hard work. It's like dirty, like you get covered in dust. I wear gloves and a mask and like a hazmat suit because it's so dusty. And I'm actually allergic to dust. Like, when I clean in the house, I have to wear a dust mask. So I was working on that Sunday, and just that little bit of work really gave me the momentum and the push that I needed to get started on that whole area. And my mom is super helpful and encouraging in letting me just get through that, because our eventual goal is to make this house better, to appreciate this house, and that clutter was not doing anything to make the house better. But I think I realized how massive of a task it was, and that took that it was going to take a lot of energy to blast through. So 2 hours on Sunday, I would go to work, come home, eat dinner, and then get back into it. And I did 2 hours Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and maybe an hour and a half yesterday, Friday. And I'm about halfway through. So what this is doing, I think it's a great project to clear this space and to, along the way, uncover some new inventory, and ultimately make that space more usable and ready to receive more inventory that I can list for more. However, at the moment, that is stopping me from listing. There is a freeze on listing everything. I had like 10 items listed in draft over the week on Sunday, And that was all I listed through the week. So I think throughout the week I maybe listed 8 items total, with one more to go. So there were 9 items that I listed last weekend. And that is putting a bit of a pause on my strategy to list continually. So that's a little bit, that was the setback, and that I wasn't able to list as much because I'm working on this project to get me to a place where I can list even more. So that's part of the strategy, and it's part of what you do for the hustle, I guess. So this third item is to explore new avenues to source inventory, and that's actually what I'm getting in the car to go do today. That's another thing that takes a lot of energy and a lot of sort of thought power, time, conscious intention to kind of to look into and to research, because a lot of these, if you just do a Google search, you come up with a lot of dead ends. A lot of things are no longer in business. Some things are scams. And then there are a lot, once you get something that you think might be legitimate, there's a lot of work that goes into that. I mentioned I got that postal address. Now I'm working on getting my resale certificate so I can purchase some of this inventory. Again, it's just part of the strategy, part of the hustle. And so far, I mean, obviously the hustle is self-funded, so that's wonderful. And I'm still, my plan is to be on target to meet my goals for additional debt payoff this month. So that is where I am for my side hustle strategy this week. I'm just powering through. Those setbacks are what they are, and you make a plan and you get on with it. Like that's life. So this is where I am, and thank you for watching. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. I love to interact with you. And again, I thank you for watching and hope that you'll keep watching.